also wanted to talk to you about Surah Ikhlas too.
Go ahead. Ikhlas, Surah Al-Ikhlas, chapter 112 of the Quran.
In order, for me to believe in a God must be in that condition.
Who told you that?
In Surah.
Who told you a God must be in that condition when that assumes that your Quran is from God? Who told you that?
I mean, that's the best condition.
No, it isn't. It's actually the most incoherent piece of babble I've ever read. For example, when you say Kul, Allahu, right? Ahad. What does Ahad mean?
Yeah. Ahad means unique.
Where does it say that it means unique? When the word Ahad, every time it appears in the Quran, it means one among many, one of.
Yeah,
in fact, can you show me, before you answer the question, can you show me a single place in the Quran, except that one verse, where Allah is called Ahad, He's called Wahid?
Yeah, that's why I say it's that Ahad means unique in that.
How, when Ahad always means one of in the Quran and never means one and only? So you're not hearing my point. Can you show me a single place where Ahad is used in the Quran to mean unique? Whenever that word is used, it means one among many, one of?
Yeah, I get that point.
Okay, that's the first mistake with Surah Al-Ikhlas. Second mistake, what does Samad mean? Allahu Samad.
Samad means he's self-sufficient.
Where do you get that from? See again, where do you get that from? If you go to the Mufassirin, like Tabari, they give you a dozen explanations of Samad because they didn't know exactly what it meant. So how do you know what it means when they didn't know what it meant?
Because one scholar, I asked him, so he said Samad means self-sufficient.
Okay.
He doesn't need any human.
Okay, can you ask that scholar, before, I'm not trying to cut you off, I'm not trying to be, I say, can you show me where in Ibn Kathir, Qurtubi, Tabari, they said this is the meaning and the only meaning?
Okay, I will ask.
I have an article on it. I'm going to give you the article. I did an article on Samad and Ahad. I'm going to give you those two articles. Even Tabari and Ibn Kathir and Qurtubi all admit there was more than one explanation, several explanations, because no one knew the exact meaning. One meaning was Allah's not hollow. Hollow means empty. Like when you have, let's say, a statue, it's empty inside.
Yeah.
And they said Samad means he's not empty, he's not hollow inside. But what a stupid word to use, because Allah, unless he has a body, it makes no sense to say Allah is not empty inside, not hollow. Unless you are Salafi and you believe Allah does have a body and that body's not empty inside. It means solid, not hollow.
Okay.
And you're telling me this makes sense to say Allah's solid, not empty inside?
I would prefer another,
Of course
the
you
way
would.
I interpret it.
Of course you
I would
would.
say he's self-sufficient.
Of course you're going to choose the definition that makes sense to you, but that's my point. You just proved my point. You're going to choose one definition that makes sense and then tell me, see, this is the standard for true Tawhid. But this is what we call begging the question. You know what that means? Of all these different explanations, you choose the one that you like because it makes it easy for you, and then tell me, see, now your God has to live up to my preference.
Yeah.
Right? Now the second problem you have, when it says lam yalad wa lam yulad, if you go to the commentators, lam yalad wa lam yulad, it means that the one who doesn't inherit and the one who's not inherited because he doesn't die. That's actually according to the commentators. The commentators say that Muhammad gave this response when the Jews asked about Allah, his God. Is he born? And he says, Lam yalad wa lam yulad, meaning he doesn't give birth, nor is he born, so he doesn't die, and therefore he's not inherited. That's according to the commentators. Allah is not inherited, and he does not inherit because he's not born to die to be replaced. You know what the problem with that is?
Yeah.
Do you know what the problem with that in definition is?
What?
Okay, according to the explanation, so everyone understands me. Lam yalad wa lam yulad was composed to respond to the assertion that Muhammad's ilah, his Allah, isn't born, so he doesn't die, and therefore he's not inherited by someone, or he doesn't inherit. But the Quran says that's a lie. Your God does inherit. In chapter 15, verse 23 of the Quran, Allah speaking says, we inherit the earth. And one of the names of Allah is Al-Warith, the inheritor, the heir. And that's also in Surah Al-Maryam, chapter 19, verse 40, chapter 19, verse 80. So let me give you the 3 verses again. Okay, if you go to Surah Al-Hijr, 15:23, read it. It says, we inherit. Allah speaking, we inherit. Okay, right?
Okay.
And then Surah Al-Maryam, chapter 19, verse 40 and verse 80, it says Allah will inherit everything on the earth and inherit all that that person possesses. How does your God inherit?
I think because everyone will die and ultimately Allah will be left with all of that.
So that means Muhammad just contradicted himself, because he said, Lam yalad wa lam yulad. He's not born, therefore he doesn't inherit, and neither does he beget, therefore he's not inherited, but he does inherit.
I think in this sense, it's talking about anyone else being God.
So hold on, let me ask you a question. You're telling me the Quran is Allah's perfect speech and Allah speaks perfectly and is the best communicator, but he comes out saying something that contradicts himself, and you're doing a better job explaining what Allah meant than when Allah said it. So why say we inherit? Why use the language to confuse people? Why say we inherit? Say, no, we own everything on the earth and we own what that creature owns because we own him and what he... Why say we inherit? Why use the wrong term?
That's why I do not agree with the translation of inherit.
It's
say
not up to you.
Neither begets,
no, it's not up to you.
Begets, nor is born.
My friend, it's not up to you. Al-Warith is one of the names of Allah. Al-Warith, we inherit. It's one of the names. In fact, to prove to you it means inherit, in chapter 21, verse 89, Surah Al-Anbiya, 21:89, Zakaria, praise to Allah, says, you are the best of those who inherit. You can't explain that away, because here it says Allah's part of a group. All this group, they inherit, but he's the best among them. So what do you mean you reject that meaning? Because those that inherit, do they not die? And don't they receive inheritance from someone in their family that dies and leaves them that inheritance?
Yeah, but ultimately everyone will die and Allah will get all of that. That's why.
But why does he need to get anything when he's Al-Ghani, the rich? He already owns everything. You're not answering the question. Isn't he Al-Ghani, the rich?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so he already owns it, right?
Yeah.
So why say inherit something he already owns? Does that make sense?
In this surah, I think he never begets nor is born. So he's saying, no one is my begotten son, and
Is that how the word yalad is used in the Quran? Is yalad used to mean that no one is his begotten son? If so, what sense? How's the word yalad used in the Quran? Lam yalad wa lam yulad. The word walad. How's it used in the Quran? Every time it's used, how is it used? I already wrote an article on this.
Yeah, I have to see now.
I've already done the search. It always refers to offspring produced by sexual intercourse, family members that you have begotten.
Okay.
The word walad, when it says lam yalad wa lam yulad, walad, begot, every time it appears in the Quran, it refers to offspring that are sired through sexual reproduction. Your parents that sired you, their children whom they sired. And now, which Christian thinks that God sired Jesus sexually? Because that's the meaning of walad.
Yeah, no one.
Okay, so how are you going to now use Surah Al-Ikhlas to judge the Trinity when it's the most incoherent chapter in your Quran? Because no one knows what ahad means, samad means, lam yalad wa lam yulad means, all of that confusion. And this confusion, you're telling me, is a third of the Quran, and it's going to be the standard to judge the Trinity.
But that's why I believe this begets means he cannot have it even without not sexually.
So how can Mary have a son without sexual intercourse and your God can't?
But she's a creator, right?
So the creature can do something that Almighty can't do. So you're not listening to yourself. Listen to yourself carefully. A creature can have a son without sex because Allah Almighty can give her a child, but Allah himself can't have a child unless he has sex. So that means he can do something for the creature he can't do for himself.
Yes, because he's one and only. That's why.
One and only. So hold on. If he's one and only, is the Quran his speech?
Yes.
But then the Quran has a mother. So how is he one and only when His Quran has a mommy. If the Quran has a mommy, then the mommy is Allah's consort. So one and only cannot mean he can't have a consort, because it says Quran is an Kitab, and Kitab with us. So if the Quran has a mommy and the Quran belongs to Allah, then the mommy is Allah's consort. So there goes your one and only. Surah chapter 43 verses 3 and 4. And this Quran is in Arabic, and it's in the mother of the book that is with us. And then if you go to chapter 13, Surah Al-Ra'd 13:39, Allah abolishes what he wills, for with him is the mother of the book, Kitab. What is Allah doing with a mommy, the mommy of the book?
The mother of the book, is it referred to the Quran or something?
No, it's the Quran is in the mother of the book. It's in it. So who's the mommy?
That's the book of Taqdeer.
How can it have a mommy if it doesn't have a consort?
He does not mean it literally like.
What does it mean?
I think it's a different language. He just means.
What does it mean here? Al-Kitab. Define it for me. What does Al-Kitab mean?
Yeah, mother of the book. Obviously.
Okay, so you're saying it doesn't mean literal mommy. Okay, then give me definition. What does it mean?
I think it just means the superiority of this book.
How can anything be superior to the Quran if the Quran is the speech of Allah?
I can't remember that book, in which Allah writes the Taqdeer.
Yeah, in the heavenly tablet you're talking about?
Yeah.
But how can the Quran be inferior if what you have in the Quran is identical to what's in the heavenly tablet?
In the heavenly tablet, it includes Quran, Bible, Torah.
But the Quran is not inferior. You're not getting what I'm saying. The Quran you have here is identical to what's in the tablet, right?
Yeah, of course.
So then the tablet can't be better than the Quran, because the Quran is exactly what's in the tablet. It's identical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then why is it the mother of the Quran?
Because it's not. Quran is only Quran. But in that book, it has everything.
Okay, so why is it called mother? That's what I'm asking. Why mother? Why the term mother? What does it mean?
Again, I would just translate it to be superior than Quran.
So the Quran is inferior to the Quran in the tablet. So what you have now on earth...
Not the Quran, only the book that Allah has in which the Taqdeer is there.
Okay, brother, you're confusing me. Let's try it again. Why is it called mother? If you say superior, how can the Quran on earth be inferior to the Quran in the tablet if it's identical? So are you sure it means superior?
Quran obviously is equal.
Okay, so it's not superior. So tell me, why is it called the mother? The book, the mother of the book. Why? The tablet's called the mother. Give me definition. I'm waiting.
Again,
I'll give you some of the definitions given by people.
Give me that verse. I want to read it in English.
Okay, do you have it? Do you have it with you, the Quran now? Open it up. Go to chapter 43, chapter 43, verses 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
Read it for me.
We have made it an Arabic Quran that you might understand, and indeed it is in the mother of the book with us, exalted and full of wisdom.
Okay, now one more verse. Go to Surah Al-Ra'd, chapter 13, ayah 39.
Allah eliminates what he wills or confirms, and with him is the mother of the book.
Okay, so now, what is the mother of the book? It's the heavenly tablet. Okay, why is it called mother? I want a definition for mother. Why is it called mother?
Because in it is decree and wisdom.
So why is it called mother?
I would just say because Allah wrote whatever will happen in it. And
yeah, he can write anything and still not call it mother. Why is he calling it the mother?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you how some will explain it to you. Mother means the source of the Quran, meaning the Quran comes from the heavenly tablet. It's the mother, meaning the source of it, right?
Yeah.
That's how they define it. So understand, because I want you to now think with me. You can be mother of the book, not sexually, physically, because the tablet doesn't have sex with Allah, right?
Yeah, of course.
So here mother means the source from which the Quran comes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now you just proved that Allah is the father of Jesus. Because if Jesus is the word of Allah, that means he originates from Allah. Allah is the source. So Allah is the father of Jesus, according to that definition. So you just proved my point. Thank you. You got it now? See, you're laughing because you got it. If you're going to tell me mother can mean source of something, because that thing comes from this, then if Jesus is the word of Allah, Jesus comes from Allah as his word, Allah is the source of that word, then being the source of that word, source of Jesus, Allah is Jesus's father. Thank you for proving to me, according to the Quranic logic, Jesus is the son of Allah without sex.
But we didn't finish Surah Ikhlas.
Well, you don't need to, because Surah Ikhlas has nothing to do with what I said.
Fourth ayah, nor is there to him any equivalent.
Exactly. That's why the Trinity makes sense, because is there anything in creation that's identical to the Trinity? Anything? Point to something in creation that is triune. Three eternal persons exist as one God, not three gods, that are not bodily, that are not physical material. So that actually proves the Trinity is true according to that verse, because there's nothing like the Trinity. Thank you. You just proved my point. Show me. Show me something like the Trinity.
Again, I just think from this surah, the oneness of Allah, Allah is saying, no one is like me.
Exactly. No one is like God. That's why there's nothing like the Trinity. Exactly. The one true God, nothing like him. That's why the triune God, he's the only true God, and there's nothing like the Trinity.
Didn't Allah say those are disbelievers who say Allah is third of three?
Yeah, and what does third of three mean according to your Quran?
Means Mary and Jesus.
So can you show me that the Trinity is Allah, Jesus, and Mary?
Yeah, Holy Spirit. That's
okay. I'll tell you what the Trinity is: God, his kalima, and his ruh. God, the Word, and the Spirit. The Word became flesh, Jesus. So now you believe Allah, his kalam, the Quran became book, and his ruh. You have a Trinity of your own.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, but hold on. If my Trinity can't be true because of Surah Al-Ikhlas, then your Trinity can't be true. So why is your Trinity true?
But we believe everything is Allah's attributes.
Everything, even you?
Those are his attributes. Not
so you are his
person.
attribute? You? Because you said everything.
No, I'm not his attribute.
Okay, so, and the Quran
but
being Allah's attribute.
Everything is him.
Oh, so you mean the Quran is Allah?
This is speech of Allah.
But wait, no, wait, listen, Shah, I love you, my brother in humanity.
Yeah.
You said the attributes is him. The Quran is the speech. It's his attribute. So the Quran is him. You just said that. His attributes are him, right?
I think it was a slip of a tongue. I meant to say his attributes are his.
Okay, so the Quran is Allah's speech, right?
Yeah. Of course,
is it created? Quran created? Is it makhluk created, or is it uncreated? Come on, answer. You know the answer. Answer.
His words are not created.
Okay, so Quran is not created, right?
Yes.
It's uncreated, right?
Yes.
And is it Allah?
It's not.
Okay.
I mean, it's words of Allah.
Okay, but I didn't ask you that. Is it Allah? Yes or no?
I don't know how to answer that.
So if you say yes, that means every time you touch the Quran, you're touching Allah, because Allah became a book. Is the Quran Allah?
No.
Okay, so again, hear yourself out. Quran uncreated because it's the words of Allah, but it's not Allah. So now let's do the math. Allah uncreated, Quran uncreated, but Quran is not Allah. That's two. So you have two uncreated. So you don't believe in Tawhid.
I think, we do not worship Quran.
Why don't you? If it's uncreated and it's speech of Allah, what's stopping you?
Because Allah, we would hear His speech and we would follow it. We would not worship His.
You follow His speech, right?
Yes.
Isn't ibadah worship obeying?
Yes.
So you just admit you worship the Quran because you follow it, because part of worship is to obey and follow. And you just said we obey and follow the Quran. Well, part of worship is to obey and follow. You do worship the Quran. Thank you.